just having a little sip of my coffee. I'm going to give it a minute because it takes a while before people can hear what I'm saying. Having a little sip of coffee. Right, I'm going to see how I get along at 45 seconds. So, my hair's wet. By the way, just got out of the bath. So, welcome to School of Addiction. My name is Ashley Bloxham. I am an addictions therapist. I also specialise in trauma and childhood. I also have studied addiction. I've done masters. I've been doing my PhD, so I've got a really good understanding of addiction from a theoretical perspective, but I've also overcame addiction. So I've got a good understanding of what it's like to be in addiction and what it's like to break through out the other side and now be recovered. I also have loved ones who've went through addiction, so I really see addiction from a 360-degree view. I understand it as much as I can, and what I'm hoping to do is every day through the week I'm coming on and I'm just creating a little space for people to join and just talk about addiction and recovery or anything to do with mental health, because let's be real, as I always say, addiction is a symptom, it is not the root cause. So today I wanted to talk about, what did I want to talk about? I forgot what I wanted to talk about. I am full of cold today, actually, so my brain is a bit what did I want to talk about? My brain's gone blank. It really has. I don't. This happens to us. This happens to us anyways, but it's especially worse now I've got a cold. Hello, whoever's joined. Thanks for joining. I'm trying to remember what I was supposed to be talking about today, but I can't remember. To save my life. Oh yeah, so I was going to be talking about things that we can do to help us whilst we're getting sober. And one of the big things that I sharp realised when I decided to get clean from drugs is that it was almost like waking up from a dream that I didn't want to participate in. And I looked around and realised that, hang on a minute, my environment is not cool right now. I don't feel very supported. I haven't got the right people. And actually, one of the things that I had to face was that a lot of the people in my life were people that I would actively engage with drug use. So I didn't know what to do because I thought, how can I hang around with people? How can I do my normal everyday things now that I'm not an addict and my whole life is situated around being an addict? So that was really difficult to deal with. So I wanted to talk about that a little bit today and what you might do in those instances. So for me personally, I had to get rid of some people. I had to remove myself. And that wasn't just saying I'm never speaking to you ever again, but I just need to take a little bit of distance. But what I actually found was the people that I spent time with, generally something or another happened and I stopped spending time with them. But it's really important to think about, okay, are these relationships that I've got at the moment in my recovery sustainable? Because there has to be a choice between, am I going to choose me or am I going to choose them? Because if you're actively hanging around with people and they're still engaging in the thing you're addicted to, that means they're automatically a trigger. And the thing is, our brains make associations. So if we're spending time with somebody, you might not, maybe you get sober and then you spend time with somebody who you used to get wrecked with or drunk with or whatever I used to do with, and instantly your brain thinks, oh, I should be doing that with this person. So it's really important to have conversations with yourself and then conversations with others about your recovery. So I was really boundaried. There's one particular friend that I can think of where I said, right, I actually can't see you for a little bit because every time, like for the last however many years we've just got wrecked together, our friendship was built on a buzz. And they got a little bit annoyed with us for saying that. And I said, it's not that I'm not going to be spending time, like seeing you, I'll still speak to you on the phone, but I just need you to not mention my drug of choice. I need you, which was ketamine, by the way, I need you to not mention ketamine. I need you to just, like, we need to speak on the phone but not see each other for a little bit. And there was a bit of pushback around it. Eventually, after about 3 weeks or something, I said, right, we can do something, but that you need to make sure that you're not bringing it in the house. And what happened was they came round. First time was fine. Next time we ended up saying, oh, let's have a girls' night, we'll share a bottle of wine. And then they had brought the ket with them. And because I'd had a glass of wine, that little voice in my head was like, oh, you can use this as an excuse to have it. So I ended up lapsing. So then I had to reinforce this. It happened for a third time. So that was a point where I thought, yeah, okay, I do really like this friend. This friend's great, but they're in a position where they can't come round to my house without having ket, and I can't sit here and not take it with it in my house and with this person. So that friendship I had to let go. And it wasn't anything against the person, but I just had to think, am I going to choose me or am I going to choose somebody else? And I had to choose me. So it's a really dodgy thing. But then I've got other friend who I just said that I can't really do this, but can we do other things together? So instead of going nights out and doing things where they're getting wrecked, can we do daytime things? So we started doing yoga together and doing rearranging our friendship so that we still maintain the friendship, but it wasn't situated around drugs. But I think this is something that we don't talk about in especially early stages of recovery, is when you decide to change and other people aren't around you, you're then faced with this really confronting thing that actually are these people that are going to continue on this next part of my journey, because we need to be realistic about our limitations, especially in the early stages. You know, there are going to be triggers and there's going to be times where it is more difficult. I relapsed so many times because it was there in front of my face, and I was really strong for a month, 2 months, but it was in front of my face and I relapsed. And this happened to us in my pregnancy. I basically went my first 2 trimesters where I didn't take anything. I was still had the same people around us, and then it was in front of my face and I'd been having a really bad time, and that's when I relapsed. And it's just one of these things where I realise if I'm going to relapse with a child in my stomach, you know, as a mother, that is a big deal, a first-time mother. I need to be aware of the fact that if I'm going to be around certain people, there is a high chance that I'm going to relapse if they're using. So when I got sober the last time, I had to be very real with myself and make the decision of, am I going to choose me in my recovery or am I going to choose other people? So what that meant is that my friendship group went from being quite big, and the people who I spent the most time with were no longer in there. And then it went really small, and I've been left with a very few friends who were very aware of my situation and have helped me to move away from my recovery instead of pulling us back into their into their addiction. Hi Jason, thank you, that is very kind. Josh, you look lovely today, darling. What was your addiction? Thank you, that's a nice compliment. I've got wet hair, I've just came out of the bath, but such is life. My addiction was, my main one was ketamine. That was the one that got us and scared the bejesus out of us because I just didn't know if I was going to be able to stop. I've been addicted to mind-altering substances. My psychiatrist pointed out to us in pretty much full adult life up until 33. 32. So that looked like I was either drunk, stoned, on coke, taking pills, just anything and everything recreational. I've never done hard drugs. So yeah, but my main addiction was ketamine. That was the one that really got us. I've also been really addicted to sugar. That's something that I really struggled to let go of. Tobacco, just a lot. I've got ADHD. So I think I've been self-medicating my dopamine deficit from quite a young age, to be honest with you. I've slipped in and out of unhealthy relationships with alcohol and weed. I don't really like weed, but it's just something that I, for some reason, I've been doing for a good stint, and then waking and baking and then thinking, what am I doing? Stop. What caused you to stop? That's a good question. Can I ask as well, Jason said I only smoke cannabis now and drink. So did you have other addictions? I don't know if you've told us this because I feel like I recognise your name, so sorry if you have. Also, Josh, have you struggled with addiction or not? But what caused us to stop? So basically I'm an addictions counsellor. I'd done a lot of training in it, so I knew everything that I needed to do to stop, but it just wasn't working. And I was already, before I had my addiction, ironically, I was already doing training to be an addictions counsellor, and it just didn't work. So what caused us to stop was, and I say this, I got sober before I got sober. I started to learn to love myself. And I've just been speaking in the beginning about putting in boundaries and actually removing myself from certain people. And I think that was a process of learning to love myself before I stopped, so that when I did, I loved myself enough to do what I needed to do. Because they just weren't landing. All of the tips and tricks in the world do not work if you're self-loathing and you hate your life. It was an inside job. I had to learn to love myself. And my son was a big part of it. I didn't want him to be in a cycle, a cycle where I was an addict and then putting him through that. But I can't say it was my son that made us stop, because, like I say, I slipped up when I relapsed when I was pregnant, and I relapsed twice when I had him in his first year of life. So it was good motivation, but it was the loving myself enough to stop. The other thing that really helped us was reaching out for support. So I was trying to stop alone because I was so scared about if social services would be involved, if people would judge us and think I was the worst person in the world. And actually, when I reached out for support with my loved ones, yes, there was some people who actively said I was the worst person in the world. You know, they didn't say I was the worst person in the world, but they confirmed my worst fears. But there was some people who were absolutely solid for us. So that really helped, being able to talk about it. And one of my best friends who I do the podcasts with on YouTube on Sunday, called Sunday Service of Addiction, she'd already been through addiction. So she really knew how to support us. So I think it's about connecting with people who have been through it. Russell Brand talks about this. Find people who have been where you are and done it successfully, get a mentor. And I think AA offers that tremendously, having a sponsor. So let's see what people have said. So true. Many people won't dare quit, and some people's clock runs out, unfortunately, yeah. And some people quit when it's too late. That happened to my next door neighbour, who was a very dear friend, and he's been sober for 6 years. And unfortunately, the damage was already done in some respects. And yeah, he passed away not that long ago. And honestly, it's been really sad. He's amazing as well. He was so lush. It's just, yeah, but it's so true, Monica. Monks. Jason Newton, I've took most things, but I was smoking crack, took me to new lows. Yeah, I can imagine. One of my best friends in the world ended up having a crack addiction, and he's just starting to get off it. He's got off it recently, but yeah, it was really hard to watch. And I've had, say my addiction was Kate, but I had an addiction. I don't know if you have heard of coke with ethanol, but essentially it's cocaine and alcohol together. So for me, every time I had a drink, I wanted coke, which was like coke with ethanol is chemically addictive. But basically I'd never really had a problem with cocaine other than that. And I did do it quite a lot, and I was in a lot of debt for it, but it wasn't something I was waking up and doing every day. It was when I wanted a drink, but a lot of people I know have ended up transitioning into crack, and I don't envy it. But yeah, well friggin' done for getting off it. That is some boy. Some boy. Especially just getting to the point where you're just smoking cannabis and drinking now. That's brilliant. Rushan, hello ma'am, where you from? I'm from Newcastle in England. Northerner. Love it. Josh Lang. A lot of people grow up in places where they don't know what love looks like, so they move into the world trying to find love in places where it isn't. I love that. So true. So I'm currently writing a book at the moment. It's drawing all the research and studying I've done together, and it's about the link between addiction and ADHD, and I've wrote a bit about this. It's so true. And Gabor Mate describes this as he talks about a sex worker that he interviewed who was I want to say heroin addict, and he asked her why do you do heroin, and she described it as a warm hug. And I think it's, you know, we get that sense of relief and connection from addiction. Jahan Hari does a fantastic TED Talks that I urge everyone to watch on the war on drugs. And he talks about the antidote to addiction is connection, and it's so true. But yeah, also, Josh, going back to what I was saying in the beginning, and what you're saying is we're trying to find love in places where it's not, and we're connecting with people who aren't helpful to us in our recovery. Thank you for people liking it. I just want to say as well, I'm trying to get to 1,000 subscribers because I can do some more stuff. I want to do like addiction encounter groups with people. So if anyone can give us a subscribe, that would be really helpful to get us to that goal, but you don't have to. Hi, mystery dude from another omniverse. There I am. You listen to Ket Donk? No, I haven't. I've heard of a song that my friend, I'm not even going to repeat the name of it. It's so, it's K on my D. It's a bit, it's a bit rogue. But yeah, it really is. And I think the thing where it's so sad because addiction used to be seen as a welfarist issue in the UK. And then when Maggie Thatcher came in, there was an influx of heroin. This is my little geeky side coming out. But there was an influx of heroin in the 70s. And it basically was like mainly in big cities like Liverpool and etc. And what happened was it was at the same time as deindustrialization, and it was just an epidemic. And what happened is it then the policy got shifted from addiction being seen as a welfarist issue to becoming an individual issue, and it was then more something that we were like punishing. And that was because of obviously the war on drugs, the influx, and at the same time because of all the industries being broke down, a lot of people started engaging in drug use because obviously when we're not working, we don't have purpose and we don't have that connection, we're more likely to lean into it. So it's now not seen as something where people are struggling. Unfortunately, policy doesn't reflect that, and it is something where what Josh is saying is we need to pour these people in, like surround them with love. And we say these people, you know, I've been one of these people, and we just need love. And unfortunately, instead, because of all the war on drugs, the policy, and just the horrificness of it, it's just so stigmatized, and actually it's really isolating. And what I found was, you know, the only support network I had were other people who were using drugs who were also feeling desperate. I spoke about my friend who struggled with crack. He was a crack addict at the same time I was a ket addict, and we were supporting each other through it, but we didn't have the right tools, and it was really hard. It's really sad, but yeah. It's really important to find love in the right places though, and I think that can be tricky, and I think we need to love ourselves enough first so that we know what love looks like, so that we can recognize, are people matching this, this is a blueprint, this is how I'm treating myself, are they treating us the same, or are they not? And then you have to take inventory of who's in your life and decide whether they're going to stay or do I need to put boundaries in. But yeah, finding love is so important for healing, and we need to make sure that we're loving ourselves first. Yeah. How am I today? I'm good. I'm full of cold today, actually. So the only thing that I'm going to be doing today is my washing up and this live. I might make a video. I'm running out of ideas on what to do my short videos on. I don't know if there's anything that somebody want a little video done on. How are you today, Mystery Dude? How is everyone? Where's people are in their recovery? I tell you what I love about what I've been finding with these lives. There's a lot of people already in recovery, which is great. It's really nice seeing how people have tackled it and what they're doing. It seems quite similar to what my approach to it is, which is really nice. Usually I'm working with people in active addiction. So, and obviously, when people are actively addicted, you kind of have to have blind faith that what I'm doing with them is going to work, because a lot of the stuff is very fact, or like tools, do this tip and trick, but actually it's about self-love, and it's about learning how to undo shame and etc., and do nice things for yourself. And it seems a lot of people in recovery who are successfully doing it, which I'm meeting on these lives, or have approached it the same way that I have and that I do with addiction clients. Yeah. So how is everyone getting on? Let's see. That's so somebody, I'm just going through in the comments, and Roshan has said like, hello mom, and my woman is being weird. Something you want to, I don't know if you want to chat about that, but I can give some support if you want in some way. That's one of the things as well. I don't want to just limit myself to talking about addiction, because I think addiction's just like the self-medication of the stuff going on underneath. But women are weird. We are weird little bunches. Very different. She has not returned a text in over a day. Last message was, I love you, bro. Where's she at? Haha. Play cool. Play it cool. I don't know where she's at. It's hard. Is this dating stages then? It's bloody hard dating, isn't it? God, it's not for the faint-hearted. The dating bit's fine. It's when you find someone you like and then you're like, Jesus. This is the problem. So with addiction, with me, and this is quite common with a lot of people with addiction, is often it stems from childhood. And then when we rewind to childhood, what we've struggled with is having healthy connections with caregivers. And, I think society, I'm not saying every person has had a bad parents. I don't think any bad parents are, well, some parents are bad. I think a lot of parents are doing the best. But as a society, we're not really priming parents. So we don't really know what a good relationship is and how to interact in one. And then you're going in bloody blind. You don't know how to love yourself. You're coming out of addiction. You're trying to find someone, you're like, oh, hang on a minute. I don't know how to be loved or how to love properly. Great. She said that to me and also said sorry. And yes, it is. I have a date planned for a luxury hotel on Guy Fawkes but she's gone for now. She's been gone a day. Chill your beans, I say. Heard of you're gonna get your Guy Fawkes date, and if it is, that's lovely. The girls pursuing someone, taking them out, having nice things planned. That's what every girl needs. You might get some which don't know that that's what they need. That's what we need. We do. We need to be looked after, treat like princesses, the little princesses that we are. Right, you heard of Malvern Hills. Well, I want to take her there as well at night, viewing the fireworks. Oh my God, that's so beautiful. No, I haven't. That sounds so gorgeous. Oh, she's a lucky girl. She needs to get replying. She needs to get replying. It's been a day though. Use some of them things that you did to help you in your recovery, to breathe, refocus on yourself, do something good for yourself. I've never been on a date. This is my first date. Oh my God. Well, I'm going to say excuse the pun, but what I mean is like include the pun. We're going out with a bang on you for your first date. Wow. Oh, I love that. Love that for you. Oh, yeah. Do you know what it is? I miss a low key. It's weird. Look, let's be real. Your brain is, if we look at the neuroscience of it, your brain is going to be firing and wiring with loads of neurochemicals. It is hard. Yeah. Give them a chance, give it a little bit of chance, a little bit of space. Though, so let her do her thing. What I do in situations like this is it's a good opportunity to go back within and start doing doing something good for yourself, because it's very easy to get lost in the drug-induced chemicals that is dating someone. You'll be filled with vasopressin, oxytocin, bloody nuts. It's not good. It's enough to send anyone crazy, so be kind to yourself. George Malvern Hills. Yeah, it's nice that you're missing her though. It shows you care. How long have you been speaking to her? And also go there when your head's a mess. It's spectacular, especially at night on a clear sky. That sounds lovely. Where is it though? Google Malvern Hills. I'll take a screenshot and I'll Google it after. Hi, Carlos. Hello. We're just having a little chat about, for those who have joined, if there's any support you like on addiction recovery or mental health, or even dating. We're talking about dating now, just anything. Just throw in a comment. Malvern. Where's Malvern? What country we're talking about here? I don't even know where that is. I'm not good with geography. It's not my forte. Hola, Cosa Linda. Don't know what that says, but I know what hola means. I lived in Spain, you know. I've lived in Spain 4 times, and hola is the only word in that sentence I understand. Oh my days. That's where my addiction started, actually. That's where, not my actual addiction to kept, but that's where I first discovered drugs. Well, no, that's a lie. I took drugs when I was younger, but this was the first time I discovered my love for it. And so I moved to Ibiza. I lived there for 4 summers, and I absolutely loved it. And I think the connection that I made was I feel secure and safe and happy when I take drugs, and I felt connected to other people. I felt like I could be myself, and I felt like I came alive. And I had to then learn when I got sober that, oh, hang on a minute, how do I have that same connection and confidence in group settings with people without drugs or alcohol? Because like I said in the beginning, I was just addicted to mind-altering substances before I had the ket addiction, that was just every day, all day, every day. But I was addicted to mind-altering substances, and I think that stemmed from Ibiza, because I started to relax and be authentic and be myself when I was on drugs. So I had to learn how to be confident in social settings without them. But I was too busy getting off my nut to learn Spanish. I was the whitest, Englishest person there. On rare occasions, when the weather is perfect at night, you may see the Milky Way from... Oh my God, that is something I really want to see. I'm obsessed with the stars. I've got my son obsessed with it as well, the stars and the planets. We've got this app, Stargazer, and we're like, I'm starting teaching what the different planets look like in the sky. Not he knows what the actual planets, but like how to spot like Venus. And we're obsessed, but I've just moved to the countryside so I can see it more, but I've never seen that. I really want to go to see the Northern Lights. That is on my bucket list. I really want to. Bro, we all have that app when we love stars. Of course we do. It was my stepdad who showed us as well. He's a stargazer. Do you know what it is? One thing I didn't realise when I was in my living on planet off my nut is just how beautiful planet Earth is. I love it. I'm obsessed. I've got like spiders that live outside my window, and there's like one, it's obviously had loads of babies, so there's loads of them, and I just love watching them operate. And I just love I didn't even notice that the moon is visible sometimes during the day. That's how little I was paying attention to planet Earth, and it's like that's my new high now. I just love it. It's brilliant. Have you watched the new Neil deGrasse Tyson episode on Diary of a CEO? I'm obsessed with him. I've just started watching it yesterday. Yeah, I just love nature. It's so phenomenal. I think that like if anybody's like, what can I do instead of getting off my nut, is get in nature. Get high on life and nature. It's just, wow. Love it. Absolutely fell asleep watching it yesterday. So good, isn't it? I've only started watching the first beginning, but then it started, there's something in my book that I'm writing about that you spoke about, and I was like, it started triggering me creativity, so I ended up watching my book, but I'm going to watch it after this. I'm going to get snuggled up and watch the end of it. It makes you think, you know, like when you start zooming out the stars, just like how, just like, you think... God, just like, what is life? What the hell is life? It's how crazy is it? Like literally, blows my mind. Are you spiritual, mystery dude, or not? Is anyone spiritual who's watching? And hi to everybody who's watching. I can see there's people watching who aren't commenting. If there's anything that you'd like us to talk about, please do let us, like, just ask us a question, because we're getting a bit off topic, but geeking out about stars now. Shame you're too old, because your likes and hobbies are what my woman likes, and is why I'm attracted to her. Honestly, love it. Yeah. Do you know what it is? I am quite old. How old are you, mystery dude? You're a mystery. We don't know how old you are. Your woman, it sounds good when you've got things in common. So the lad who I'm with at the moment, getting known, we both like jiu-jitsu. We've got like some things that we're interested in, but then we're also quite different at the same time. It's nice to have a nice balance. 26. Oh, that's a nice age. It's a nice age. How do I... God, 26 as well. God, I wish I was like that when I was 26. But I wasn't. I was just wasting myself away. In saying that, I was very high functioning when I was an addict. Very, very high functioning. I managed to do 2 degrees and a master's, and at one point I was doing a degree and a master's at the same time, and doing a placement. I don't know how I was doing that, but... Joey boy, how do I break my food habits? I love that question. Absolutely will answer that. I'm just going to quickly say hi to Pro Kanko Bro. Hello, I'm good, thank you. So how do you break food habits? So this is a really good one. So one of my addictions that I've had to break is sugar, which I never would have classed as an addiction until I realised that actually this is an addiction. I started like realising it's exactly the same. So as I would suggest, if we're going to quit any addiction or any unhealthy habit, an unhealthy habit is a good way to put it, something that isn't serving us, is to not try and go cold turkey, not go full force. Now, absolutely, if you want to stop addiction, you can go cold turkey. People do. But what is more sustainable is to go on a trajectory. Also, if you read Joy Boy or listen to audiobooks, listen to Atomic Habits or read it, because that will help you. But basically, when I was trying to get healthy eating habits, which now is just, I've got immense eating habits. I found I would go all in and then it wasn't sustainable. So I was also now a vegetarian, and basically it was the same thing. I'll go vegetarian or vegan and then it wasn't sustainable. So the best thing you can do is, one, learn about it. Start learning about your body and your health. So Diary of a CEO is great. You've got so many different world leaders, so it's all experts. So start watching podcasts about people who are going to teach you about things which are healthy, and then just make little steps. So what one thing can I do today? So the first thing I started doing was making one pot meals, which were full of nutrients. So I was trying to get healthy eating habits, which were sustainable, because it's all about sustainability and just doing little bits and then praising yourself. So for me, I was eating a lot of fast food, pizzas, microwavable meals. That's not healthy. It's really bad. So I was learning about why it's bad. That was motivating us. And then I thought, right, I need fast food, which is healthy. So I started off changing my breakfast. So I'd have like some kind of egg on sourdough toast. That was easy. And then make these one pot meals. So I started going on Instagram and typed in easy one pot meals. So that might look like you get loads of tomatoes, you get a full garlic clove, a full bulb of garlic, just put it in, you don't even need to chop it up. Put a few, you could put, I don't even put onions, what do? Garlic, tomatoes, why is my brain going blank? That might be it, actually. Maybe that's why my brain's gone blank. I'd make this oatmeal all the time, it's escaped us. But basically 3 ingredients, and then at the end you just put in some cheese, some feta cheese, and you blend it all up and you've got a pasta sauce there. And you can use it for soup and sauce. So just really, really easy things. So it's just like 3 or 4 ingredients all in one pot that you put in the oven. So it's fast food, but it's healthy. So just making little tiny changes like that. Instead of having chocolate, make a little change, get dark chocolate. Instead of I was having sugary snacks, I bought a little thing that I kept on my little coffee table with nuts in it. But you can start to wean yourself off it. So I was having nuts which had like flavours on them and stuff like that. So just little tiny things that you can do, which just help you get on the right path to eating well. Because I think what we do, and this is the same with all addiction, is we say, right, I want to be here. Like, I want to be the best version of myself. I want to be teetotal. And actually, in reality, being teetotal is a lot of strain for your body. It's a huge thing to do. So let's just start with what's the worst addiction, and can I reduce down to it? Can I get a bit of control over it? Can I make little tiny lifestyle changes which is in alignment with being sober from that addiction? So try and do it like that. Yeah, drink smoothies. Also remember, all or nothing is quite hard to sustain. So I always think of 80-20 rule. So if I'm doing well 80% of the time, the 20% of the time I can just do what I want. So on a Friday night, the lad I'm with always gets us a bar of white chocolate. That's fine. I'll eat my bar of white chocolate. Through the week, I don't eat chocolate. I don't eat sweets. So, yeah. Just try and do little helpful things and praise the life out of yourself when you're doing it. And just easy things. Let's not set ourselves up to fail, because if we're saying, right, I'm going to be teetotal, or now I've just got the best eating habits in the world, when we wake up tomorrow and we're not there, we're like, well, I'm failing. And then that makes you want to go reach for the unhealthy habits because you feel like crap. So just little things and praise yourself. And what will start to happen is if you do one little habit and try and do that for a few weeks, you're doing that habit for a few weeks and then it just becomes automatic. Then do another healthy habit and just keep layering on top of each other. So like now when I'm feeling ill and I'm tired or I'm having a bipolar episode when it's a low, I'm like, oh God, I'm eating rubbish. But then I look at what I'm eating, I'm like, actually, no, I'm not eating rubbish, because old version of me would have been eating pizzas and stuff like that. I'm just not eating as good as I normally do. I hope that was helpful. It was very long-winded, but I got very passionate about it. Rooting for you. Right, let's see. If you have any questions, Joey Boy, off the bat of that, or you want that wasn't quite answering your question right, feel free to say. What are you doing? So I'm just basically sitting online, chatting to people about mental health. It's meant to be about addiction recovery, but just anything that people are struggling with, because addiction recovery is just a symptom. It's self-medicating something else. So I'm open to talking about anything. But I'm a counsellor, a therapist. I specialise in addiction, but also specialise in trauma, childhood. I've worked with pretty much every kind of issue you could possibly think of, though, as a therapist. Right, mystery dude. Indeed, I feel like I'm 40. For real. Is that FR mean for real? Because I'm not 26. I don't know these things. Yeah, I know the feeling. If I eat well and stuff and exercise, so I do feel good. That's another thing I want to say about eating well. I always think of my health like a three-legged stool. So you've got, on the one leg, you've got sleep, you've got being active, whether that's like intense exercise or neat exercise, which is basically just going for walks and stuff like that, but being active, and the food you eat. And if you remove one of those legs of the stool, the whole thing collapses. So if you're wanting to get healthier eating habits, it's also really important that you're also trying to do little steps towards being active and little steps towards having quality sleep. And again, motivating yourself by learning about it is really great. One thing that's really good for healthy eating habits to start researching and learning about is about the gut microbiome. That is really important. But yeah, it'll get you excited about it as well. It's like that with smoking, like I've quit smoking, but I'm vaping, so I can't really say I've fully quit smoking. But I've smoked since I was 12, and I'm putting off watching things about smoking, but I've got a date set for it, so I'm reducing down. And on that day, I'm just going to research the hell out of it, because it's so motivating when you start to learn the benefits of whatever you're trying to do and learn the negatives of what you've been doing. It can act as that motivator. Mystery Dune sounds great. Thank you for all the fire emojis. Yeah, Kimo, you've said chocolate and coffee. That is an addiction that I'm not really arsed about letting go. But there are benefits of coffee. Some people, it's the only source of fibre they're getting, which is quite sad that that's the society that we're living in. But yeah, detox, yeah. I had to detox from sugar. Now I need to be careful with it, but I can eat. I don't crave it the next day. Thanks for the great advice. I'm gone from coke and alcohol addiction to food, but I guess lesser of two evils. Yeah, well, yeah, think of it like a bridge, because what would have happened is when you're coming off coke and alcohol, you would have been craving dopamine because it screws with your dopamine receptors. So what this is very common is what we then do is we start to replace it with another addiction. So, and food often is something that we go to, especially if you were drinking alcohol, because alcohol has a high sugar content. So your body would have been craving that sugar. And obviously, we talk about sugar just being in sugary snacks, but it's in a lot of food, ultra processed food, pizzas, carbs, So it's very common, the place that you're in. And you know what it is, if you're getting off coke and alcohol, absolutely is the lesser of two evils. But now is the time where you can start to think about, okay, let's start reducing down and switching it for something healthier and making those healthier choices. And you know what, I'm really excited, mate. I got so excited about eating, and I was such a buzz, and I was getting dopamine from that. And this is what I'll say with any addiction or unhealthy habit. It's so important that we praise ourselves for those little wins. You know, that one craving that you didn't give into, that one little micro change that you made towards something that you want to do. Actively sit there and reflect on it, because we get a little dopamine buzz from that. I will also say, Joey boy, do you have ADHD? Because that's also means that you're at a dopamine deficit regardless whether the brain recalibrates from the addiction. Then that's another thing that, like, another added layer that might be adding to your struggle. Let me know. Ramona, hi. Doctor, I'm not going to say that name. Right, sugar is bad. Yeah, it is. It's really bad. Sugar is really bad, and what's rubbish is that we're just fed it. And then when we go to the doctors with all of these issues, they're like, oh, have a tablet. No, that's not what they should be telling us. They should be telling us about our gut microbiome, and they should be telling us about the impact of sugar. Sugar makes my ADHD go crazy, yeah. We're getting dopamine, but it's up and down, isn't it? What goes up must come down. Law of relativity. How does one avoid sugar? I cook everything fresh now. I don't eat anything that is ultra processed. So there's natural sugars, yeah. The only thing that I do have that's sugar, and this is because I got too crazy, where I basically was cutting out carbs like pasta and rice and stuff like that. And I got a dietitian, so you can request a dietitian through your GP, which I've done in the UK. That's if you're in the UK. And they said I need to include more of that. So I get sugar from from carbs, and I get sugar from like fruits and vegetables. But what I did to cut out sugars, I just got to a point slowly but surely where everything I cook is homemade. It's fresh, so I don't have it. And I actually don't like the taste of things. You know, if I have like a pizza now, I'm like, ugh, it tastes like cardboard. I had some chicken nuggets and chips. Oh my God, it tastes disgusting. And I used to love stuff like that. So yeah, it's just making slow changes to cut it out of your diet, to answer that, Kimo. And then just it becomes a new way of life. And then you just naturally, you don't even want sugar. It doesn't taste nice. Makes so much sense. Very wise professional advice. You mentioned your trauma counselor. Are you taking on any more clients? I'm not taking on clients at the moment. I'm trying to do a shift from doing one-to-one therapy to doing online stuff, because I've said this before. If anyone's watching and you haven't subscribed, that would be really helpful. What I'm wanting to do is like closed online groups. They're called encounter groups, for trauma. And if you want to email us though, because what I'm going to be doing is doing encounter groups with people. So if you want to be put on a list for that, my email address is contact@the-tarot, as in tarot cards, therapist.co.uk. I'm sure I could probably make a comment on here, but I don't know how you make a comment. No, I don't know how you make a comment. Technophobe. I need to get an email address for School of Addiction, really. But yeah, it was contact@the-tarotherapist.co.uk. You can email us and I can put you on a list. And I'll work out how you do comments for the next time. I get all my sugar from coffee. Don't touch sweet foods anymore. Yeah, I love that for you, Jacob. It is like an addiction, isn't it? When you break out of it, you're out of it. It's something you've got to do, and just, yeah, you get sugar actually from a lot of things. I don't have sugar in my coffee, but I've never had sugar in my tea and coffee. But again, you can just, I'm not saying this to you, Jacob, but just like things for what Joey and anybody else who's listening, the tarot therapist, yeah, .co.uk on the end of that. Yeah, if you want to start reducing down, so things like sugar, like if you're going to have a chocolate bar, have less of it. If you buy a big bag, buy a smaller bag so you can reduce down. So like what made us think of this is if we have a cup of coffee and you have sugar, I'm not saying that Jacob needs to cut it down, he doesn't have sugar, but as an example, instead of putting 2 spoons of sugar in, put 1.5 in. And you can do this with alcohol when you reduce down. And actually, if you are coming out of alcohol addiction, it's very unsafe just to go cold turkey. So I would advise this. But instead of having a bottle of wine, you can switch to having something that's lower percentage. And then you eventually, instead of having 4 cans, you buy 3 cans. So, or you tip 1/4 of the can out first before drinking the 3/4 of the can. So you can reduce down these things so that you're not getting them intense cravings and then going and binging on loads of sugar. This is where it can be really helpful just to slowly but surely make those little incremental steps. You'll start to snowball. So let's see. Nina, hello, 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 hello. Lots of hellos. Hi to you. Hi. How are you, Nina? Oh, did you say it, Nina? I feel like that's spelled Nina. I am so bad at names, guys, so I'm sorry if I'm calling you the wrong names, or probably am. Thanks, have a blessed day. God bless. No problem, you too. Joey boy, good luck. Jacob, quit cannabis 25 days ago, going good. Wow, well done. You're doing brilliantly, and you've got past your first 3 weeks. So with quitting things, the first 3 days is where you're going to feel it physically, and the first 3 weeks is the bloody hardest because your dopamine receptors are screwed, and you've just got over that mark. Your next point is 3 months. So keep aiming towards that, but wow, good for you. I'm rooting for you. Pray, how might one abstain from the sweet succors of fruit whilst yet partaking of the wholesome virtues? I don't like fruit, to be honest with you. I don't like the inconsistency of it. I don't like the inconsistency of the consistency of fruit. I'm like newer spicy though. It's but I do like to make smoothies out of it. So I don't know. It's just like everything I've just been saying there. I feel like you might be taking the mick, but I'm gonna answer it as if you're not. Bahar, see you, me. I don't know what that means, but hello. Hi, Surendra. Are you into tarot card readings then? Yes, I am. I learned it was it just before the lockdown? Yeah, I learned it before the lockdown. I've done actual tarot reading courses, but I am obsessed with it. It's one of my little things that I geek out on. Anything spiritual, astrology, tarot. I've just made my own therapy oracle cards, which are a bit like tarot cards, but they're not spiritual. The oracle cards, and each card has like a therapeutic technique. Hi. So I've just made them, but yeah, I just love anything spiritual. It's my little happy spot, my little hobbies and interests. I've been learning runes recently. J Conan, which is brilliant. It's that one, and well, one of them. And exercising will make you produce dopamine, which is exactly what your body will be at a deficit with, especially for that first 3 weeks. So honestly, doing it amazingly. I'm absolutely over the moon for you, because like you're in the thick, you've just got out the very thick of it, and the first 3 months is like something to be very proud of. I'm very, very proud of you. Well done. Keep going, man. A future version of you will be like, wow, what a person that Jacob was back then when he did that for me. Joy Boy, I'm born again Christian, so unfortunately a conflict of interest there, sorry. So my grandpa was a vicar, and he was a vicar, and I've studied, so one of the things I've studied is RS studies, like religious studies, and it's not that I don't believe in God. For me, spirituality sits well with me. This is my personal belief, because my grandpa was a vicar and he dedicated his whole life to it. He was a very intelligent man, very intelligent. He was an accountant before that. He's got a maths degree. He's very intelligent man, and you wouldn't expect him to be. Well, when I was younger, I found it odd that he was a vicar, because he basically quit this really high paid job to go to theological college. And I remember asking him about, when I was 13, like, how do you believe in something like this? Because I honestly just can't understand it. Like, it just doesn't make sense scientifically. And he said to me, think of your life with faith and think of it without. So I did it. Did a little exercise, and he said, which one's better? And I said, with faith. And he said, well, then just have faith. And so for me, I've kind of always had faith since then. But I always think my grandpa's so intelligent, and what's to say that, some Hindu person who's dedicating their life to their faith is really intelligent, and what's to say that person's right and this person's not? And I don't want to call judgment on that. So I try to be quite open to all religions and all different belief systems, and just accept, for me, I think I don't know what's out there. I think I'm not supposed to know what's out there, but I definitely think there's something bigger than us, and that gives us comfort, and it drives us in the right direction. So yeah, there is a conflict of interest, I suppose, on the surface, but for me, I've got a lot of mad respect for Christianity. I was brought up on it, and yeah, if you talk about tarot cards, again, it's just one of them things that I enjoy. So hopefully we can just be accepting of each other. That's what I think God would want. Your eyes are very beautiful. Thank you. I really appreciate that. Jacob blocked my only dealer, so I can't get back to it. Yeah. Do you know what it is? We've just got to do things like that. I was talking about a similar thing in the beginning. You've got to put your recovery first. And you've got to just know your limitations. Like know that, I was talking about when I was slipping up, and, I could stay sober for long stints, and then it was just that one day. And it's just making sure that you're not around the people who are going to pull you back in, or you don't have that dealer's number on your phone or whatever. So you can't go back into it. I'm agnostic. I don't believe the Bible, but I know there's higher dimensions and higher consciousness in them realms. Yeah, I identified as agnostic for a long time. That's when I just had faith. I just feel like I get a lot of spiritual signs, a lot of spiritual things. But yeah, I definitely believe there's something. I think a lot of people do now these days, which is really nice. And it's just about, I think that's really important for recovery, not necessarily believing in faith, like in something like higher power or something, but just believing in something bigger than us, like having faith in humanity. I think faith is so incredibly important. Faith in something bigger than just me, Ashley Bloxham. And it helps you step outside yourself, and when we're in addiction and recovery, very inside ourselves. I think as well what really helped me with my spirituality is I felt like everything happens for a reason, and I knew that, okay, I'm going through this, but everything happens for a reason, and I'm going to get out of it, and then I know that that reason's going to clock into place, and here I am in my place. Yes, amen, mate. I'll email you. Yeah, brilliant. I look forward to it. Hi, Yeshu. Christian. Oh, sorry, Christian. Charbel. Tell me, what doth furnish most abundantly the store of protein? Don't even know what that means. Don't know what that means. Something around protein. I feel like, I don't know if you're taking the mic or if I'm just being stupid there. I feel like you're taking the mic. But we'll roll with it. Bensonberg, Eddie Vedder. What's Eddie Vedder? Let me know. Which country am I from? I'm from England. And I'm a northerner, which we're very proud of as northerners. I'm from Newcastle. If you want a little bit more information, we get called Geordies, the people who live in Newcastle. And I is a Geordie man. You are an addiction expert, so why don't you talk about how to quit masturbation? Well, so one of the biggest addiction, I don't know if you're joking here. I feel like you're not, because one of the biggest thing, if you are joking, it's ironic. If you're not, I'll talk about it. But one of the biggest addictions that came through when I went private, as an addictions counsellor, was sex addiction. So like porn or sex work. It's a bit like what tends to happen is it starts with porn, and like anything, you start building up a tolerance, so it goes up. So the thing with masturbation is it's actually really healthy. It's the context that we're doing it in, if that's with porn and if it's something that's getting out of hand, because we also do produce dopamine off it. So it's a bit like food, you know, like we can't, like sugar is really unhealthy. Eating like ultra processed foods is really unhealthy, and it's just laced with sugar. So eating can be, you know, something that can be addictive, but we still need to eat. And this is the thing with, you know, we don't need to masturbate, but it is healthy. You know, there's a lot of research that shows how that it's healthy. So it's one of those things of like, where unfortunately we don't necessarily need to get rid of the thing, we just need to change the context. We need it to be healthier. So it's about what context is it in? Are we using porn? And again, it's about reducing down, trying to use more homemade porn or something, or trying to not use porn. Are we, yeah, is it in certain times? It's trying to get a grip, and the best way to do it is to detox first, then introduce it in a healthy way. And somebody spoke about, Jacob was saying about blocking dealers, so like blocking sites and stuff like that. But again, I don't know if one, you might be taking the mic, but the reason why I'm treating it as you're not is because that is a huge addiction. And actually what I find really sad is you've got all these services for alcohol addiction, drug addiction, gambling addictions becoming more aware, but there's not anything for sex addiction. I think there are some essays like AAs for it, but it's just not something that's talked about enough. And there's like, actually, I think it's something that's like really taboo. And sex is really taboo. Like I say, we also, like, masturbation is really healthy. There's a lot of research that talks about it. So yeah, if that is something that you are legit dealing with and not joking about, it's something that, again, it's about reducing it. It's about what context it's in and trying to get it into a healthier context. Because, yeah, I'll leave that there. Yeah, they gotta release those demons every so often. True dat. Tomu, Northerners can't drink. I don't drink anymore. I had a drink on the weekend, so I've been doing really well. So basically, I'd stopped drinking for about a year. I've got hard and fast rules with it, so for me, drinking's not going to be complete abstinence, but just there's few and far between occasions that I allow myself. So that's my hard and fast rules. And so I had stopped drinking for about a year, well, just under a year. And I started drinking. It was sort of just like socially. So then I decided to stop drinking again. Because then it started creeping into, oh, it's summer. I'll have a nice desperado while I'm doing my tidying up. So I stopped drinking, and then at the weekend I ended up having a Baileys. So I was with somebody who was drinking Baileys, and I had a sip of their Baileys because my gum was bleeding. I've cut it with dental floss. So because I could taste blood, I had a quick sip of the Baileys, and then I got the taste for it, and I was like, oh, I'm gonna have some. So what I've realised there is that, yes, I can sit in social situations and not have a drink. However, what is better for me is to have some kind of alternative there, so apple ties or non-alcoholic beer. So this week when I'm seeing the same person, I said I'm going to get some non-alcoholic beers in case I do want one. Eddie Vedder is my Jesus. God is what you need. Jesus. Oh, right. Wait. Let's go through. God is what you need. Jesus. Yeah, I think it's just having faith in whatever works for you. Because like I say, I think everybody's got different belief systems. And even within them, they believe different things. But I think faith is super helpful to life in general. Northerners can't drink. But yeah, they shouldn't drink. Northerners shouldn't drink. God. Absolute clips, honestly. And you're going out in Newcastle. We shouldn't drink, but we can, unfortunately. But I don't, to answer the question. Am I a lesbian? No, I'm not a lesbian. Too personal, Tomu. Yeah, do you know what it is, though? It's weird, because like, I feel like sexuality and stuff, it's such a taboo, isn't it? And I'm just like, I'm kind of like, don't care. But you wouldn't ask somebody like, are you straight, would you? If you thought someone's straight, you wouldn't be, are you straight? But no, I'm not a lesbian. Poo on the drink, you won't drink ever again. Oh, yeah, well, we could do that. I can't, not really my style. I haven't heard that with all the training I've done for addiction counselling, but each their own. The Eraser Blitz, how are you still awake? Shouldn't you be napping? I should be. I'm, I don't know, full of beads today. Someone's put 20 pence in it. I don't know how, because I've been really ill. Do you know what it is? A lot of people have been commenting. It's helpful when people are commenting. You're a beautiful person, both in and out. Oh, thank you. I really appreciate that. Do you know what it is? I try actively to be the best person that I can be. Just trying to put love and light out in the world. But I used to focus on being nice to people and not myself. So I try and do that now. But thank you. That's a really nice comment. Hola, I'm from Indonesia. Latin. Wow. That is great. I've never been to Indonesia. I need to start venturing outside of Europe. It's meant to be beautiful though, I've heard. That's because half the men in here see an attractive woman. That's probably what it is. Face card. I think just women in general, isn't it? Oh, God. Well, as long as you're being nice and respectful, that's fine. AA and NA are both Christian associated. Yeah, they are. But Russell Brand is actually ironically rebranding it. I love Russell Brand. He really got us through the part where I was about to get sober. When I was on the precipice of becoming sober, I was listening to a lot of Russell Brand. But I followed him for years. I don't know what it is about him. He's a bit of a knob, but I love him. But he actively owns it. I think, no, I'm not saying that in a bad way. He's actually brilliant. I love him. But he talks about that, about how it's just having faith in something bigger than ourselves. He's trying to rebrand it, isn't he? And he's working alongside them. Because I think, yes, it is religious. But I think, you know, religion is a moral compass. I've got people in my life who aren't religious, but they act in line with religion and with spirituality. And I think that's the main thing, and they're very connected to the community, and I think that's the thing that matters. But yeah, I did AA meetings and they're brilliant. The only thing I do not like is, and whoever said about the AA and NA meetings, sorry, I went to NA meetings, and the thing I really didn't like is you start off, say, hi, my name's Ashley, and I'm a recovering addict. I can't remember because it was a couple of years ago when I did it now. Quite a few years ago, about five years ago. But I didn't like starting off with, my name's Ashley Bloxham and I'm a recovering addict, because I was just like, no, I don't like to identify with that. Like, I want to move away from that identity. Yes, I was an addict. Yes, I was in recovery. But I'd like to think that I'm recovered now. I've got to a place where you literally could not pay us to go back to it. Just wouldn't. Wouldn't be able to get us to it. I'm recovered. That's like a past version of me. Wait, let's have a look. You will love it here in Australia. I've got family in Australia. I would. Oh, what a way of life. Yeah, I do. I really can't wait to start exploring the world. I've done a lot of places in Europe. A lot of places. I've been interrailing around Europe, travelling around there, but I've also just went to a lot of places. But I do need to start broadening my horizon. It's just the problem was I was spending all my money on being off my nuts, so I couldn't really afford long haul. I've only been in the Dominican Republic, but I will. That's what I want to do, is explore the world and do it with my mum. Rishi, hi, mummy. Hi. Pull out those British tea bags. I'm not really a British tea bag person, Jared. I'm drinking coffee. I do like Bird and Blend do like nice little teas. That's a like little self-care thing that I do. It's hard to comprehend half of what you say. I know, it's a Geordie accent. It's all right. Most people in England don't understand what I'm saying, let alone people from other countries. I'll try and slow down. I keep forgetting to slow down, especially when I'm getting excitable. I'm like excitable pup, just yapping away, something you can't even hear. Didn't take as an Aussie, Tomu. Too easy. Pull out those kangaroo milk. Jared, don't like comments like that. Oh no, wait, is that a bad comment? I don't know. I've got rubbish or stuff like this. I'm just gonna ignore you. I was in rehab too about 5 years ago. Same as you. How did you find rehab? Avitu. I don't know how you say your name. But how did you find rehab? I've never been to rehab. I've been sectioned. I've been to a mental institution, but I've never been to rehab. I've worked with people who've been in rehab. But yeah. Lynn, what was your question? Let's try and find it. Sorry, I didn't see your question. Where is it? You have an addiction. Oh, I answered your question, Lynn T, about how to quit masturbation. Pay attention. I wasn't just talking about the thrills and joys of masturbation. Just to reiterate, it's not necessarily something that you have to quit. I would detox from it if for a little bit. It's the context that that the masturbation's in. Is it with porn? It's usually with porn. I think that's the problem with masturbation. It tends to be when it's involved with porn. But masturbation itself is healthy. But if you're finding it problematic, then try and cut down. Because it's only an addiction if it's something that you're finding problematic, that it's an issue, and then you're struggling to stop. So try and cut it down. If it's happening in things like we're sneaking off at work and stuff like that, or you're pulling over when you're driving, that's problematic. So we need to then try and reduce down, cut down, get to a place where you stop, cut it out of your life. And if it's linked in with porn, get rid of porn. Porn is not good for you. No. We do not like porn. Porn is such a bad thing because what is addictive. Now, don't get us wrong, there might be some people who are addicted to masturbation without porn, But the majority of people that I've worked with, it's the porn. And if we could get rid of the porn, the masturbation tends to slide down a little bit anyways, because it's the reward center that's getting lit up. We're getting dopamine and yeah. Right. Chill, Jared. What's Jared saying? Yeah, I thought he was being a bit rude. I wasn't sure. Thanks, Jacob. Bro. Hi, greetings from India. Hi. Greetings from Newcastle. Yes, it's a bad comment. Well, you're half wasted on me. I'm too bloody autistic to get things which aren't straight up. I thought it was bad, but then I second guessed myself. Jared, can we just keep it clean, please? Sumya, yes, hi, I do remember you. Nice to see you back here joining. The only thing I'm really starting to recognise names, which is great. I'm struggling to remember what thing the different names are talking about, because the conversation just feels like a big blur. But I do recognise your name. I was kidnapped and taken. Kidnapped and taken to rehab. That sounds intense. Absolutely intense. So was that by like loved ones? Was it an intervention? How did you find it? Did you find it was helpful? I was almost kidnapped as a child. Wow, Jacob. Aventu. Oh, that's saying the name. Yes. Oh, God, that's scary. No wonders why he's struggling with addiction later on. No, after that question. Oh, right, sorry. Can you ask the question again, please? Lim 2. People from Newcastle are friendly, but not to people from Sunderland. Well, I actually went to school in a place called South Shields, where Geordies and Mackhams live in harmony together. Some are Geordies and some are Mackhams, but yeah, no, they're not. Yeah, it's very dangerous walking around in a Sunderland strip in Newcastle and vice versa. But hey ho, what can we do? It's a crazy culture we live in. Song David, fantastic, thank you. Hello, Kafil. Glad you didn't get kidnapped, bro. Yeah, also glad you didn't get kidnapped, bro. I imagine it still wasn't great for your fight or flight, even though you didn't. What's your channel about? It's about addiction recovery, and just mental health in general. It's about addiction recovery, but I'm a mental health practitioner, like I'm a therapist, so I also just help out with anything and everything that people are asking. Just a little bit of a chat as well. Dakota Johnson, Samia. I don't know who Dakota Johnson is. I'm gonna take a screenshot of that and go and have a look. If it's like a Susan Boyle type, I'm gonna be very angry. No, I'm not. Waste of time, 6 months for nothing. Don't know what that is, but I am actually really starting to get tired now. I'm hungry. However, Limmy T. I do want to answer your question. I'm going to try and find it before I go. Limmy T. So I can't see it. Yeah, the only question I can see is the masturbation one. And now I'm just talking repeatedly about masturbation, so if you can write it in, I'll answer it. If not. Oh, I see. Was thinking a random kidnapped you. That sucks still. It was with family's consent for the rehab centre. You have similar bangs like Dakota. She has a huge forehead though. What about you? Yeah, average size forehead. Well, I've got, it looks actually like there, it probably does look a bit big, but I've got a little tiny head, so my forehead's quite average. I just like a fringe. Had one since I was younger, but now I'm paying attention to my fringe, though. Don't pay attention to the fringe. Right, you've got a beautiful heart. Have you got someone to share it with? I've got so many people that I share my beautiful heart with. I am just surrounded by love. If you talk about am I in a relationship, I am dating someone at the moment. Been dating him for about 6 months now. He's very nice, and I wouldn't say I share my heart with him, not at that stage, but he's a nice lad, so he's canny, treats as well. Anyways, I'm gonna let you go and I will speak soon. Right, Limmy T is back online. Right, quickly answer this. I'm in the UK, I'm 19. I think I'm handsome, but I don't know how to find a partner to quit my addiction. I've never had sex, it's my problem. I'd be grateful if you could guide me. Okay. Limmy T, are you a male or female? And are you... See, I don't really want to ask a question. Do you know what it is, Limmy T? I've given me email. If you want, I'm happy just to do a little, like, if you can email us, I'm happy just to do a quick, like, phone call with you to talk you through this, because I'm a bit tired. But I would like to help you with this. Just give you a little bit of support. Because I'm gonna go. But I did put my email in, I did say my email before, and could you let us, just when you email, write Limmy T so I know it's you, because I'm not going to be answering emails from everyone, but I'm happy to do a quick phone call at some point to talk you through what you can do to help, because there's someone called Windy Dryden, and he's like actually quite a brilliant person in the counselling field, and I was fortunate enough to do a training course with him. Like, it was like a day training course, and he spoke about a one-off counselling session, and sometimes people just need one session. So I am willing to give you that one session for free. Why not? But I am very tired, so my email address is contact at the, like, THE tarot, TAR, oh god, I'm dyslexic, TAR, oh god, I'm gonna have to write this down. My brain's going blank. That's my dyslexia. Fucking riddled with stuff, me, you know. .co.uk. Right, contact at the tarot, TAROT, therapist, THERAPIST.co.uk. I don't know how you write it, Limmy T. I don't know how you write it. Well, I'm not giving my email to Rand. That's my work email. But I am happy to do just a free bit of counselling support. Think of it what you will, but yeah, that's mad. Hi. It's not mad. Well, it might be mad to you guys, but I am a therapist. I've done a lot of years work, and I am happy to help people and spread love and light and healing into the world. So if you find that mad, then that's fine.